Captain's Log Supplemental. We have been in the Lanula system studying several astrological phenomena in the area, but have been dealing with an annoying recurring problem. The system is territory of the Umar people, and they have graciously allowed us to perform our scientific studies here. However, there is an Umar colony in the system as well, and they just keep calling the space cops on us. For the pettiest reasons. For example, we were studying the system's star when an Umar patrol vessel showed up and hailed us. They had been contacted by the local colony and were told somebody was messing with the sun in the system. You know, it wouldn't be a big deal, but anytime they get a report, they have to do a sweep of the ship to ensure there's anything dangerous on board, and it takes hours. Another time, when we were examining the rings of Lanula 3, another patrol ship showed up and told us that they had received a complaint that someone was dumping waste in orbit of the planet. We were dumping waste. It was a shuttle on a mission. The last one was the worst, though. We were in orbit of Lanula 4, studying local flora and fauna. And you guessed it, patrol ship. They said they had received a complaint about a ship that was parked too close to the planet. Even the Umar security were tired of it at this point. Damn busybodies.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Captain's Log Supplemental. My name is Rob. I am joined by my friends and co-host, Chris.
Hello.
Stanford.
Yo.
And our producer, Mariah.
Hi there.
Captain's Log Supplemental is a Star Trek rewatch podcast. Each week, we march ahead in chronological order by star date. We are still trucking through Enterprise. Last season, though, so, we're getting there. We're not really a new podcast anymore, but as always, we'd appreciate you not liking and subscribing. What other things, Stanford? Rate and review.
Rate and review. Yeah, not like and subscribe,
Yeah.
rate and review. I mean, you can like and subscribe
Yeah.
if you want to, but yeah, rating and review are the good ones.
Yeah, we do have fun YouTube shorts you can listen to. So
Oh man, I haven't been making shorts in a while.
I mean,
Right,
they're still out there.
I mean, there's still a bunch up there. Yeah, you can go like those if you want to.
We're so good at this. So yeah, anyway, how are you guys doing this week?
Oh man, so it's Thanksgiving, right? And so we got people coming over. So Mariah and I have been very busily making sure that no one knows we live in this house.
Sure, yeah. You have to
let them
pretend
know
you
we
don't
live here.
live. Yeah. You
Yeah.
can't let them know you actually live there.
Yeah, like that's unacceptable. Because the first thing people come in your house and they're like, "Oh my god, do you fucking live here?" Ugh.
Yeah, I mean they touch the top of all your tall furniture to check for dust.
They run into the bedroom to see if you still have like a basket of unfolded laundry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to let you know, Chris, I am sitting across the table from Buster's dog poop hide-a-key right now.
Yes, you are. Liam got that for Sam for Christmas.
That's amazing.
Excellent.
Yep. Can't have someone finding your key. So speaking of Sam and Liam, on Sunday, they recorded the first episode of their podcast.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Let me tell you that unique experience of sitting there while three neurodivergent 10 and 11-year-olds, like, try to have a podcast at each other. It was, oh man.
I know that it was, I feel that how you specifically said that sentence, try to have a podcast at each other.
Yeah.
And that is the correct way to say that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna go like into incredible detail. First of all, these are John's kids, so hi John, and I love your children, I swear. But like, it is like I wasn't actually involved in the podcast, so I'm not like on the podcast. I was just running the tech. Okay, so I'm basically just sitting at this table listening to them talk at each other, and it was. Oh man, it's amazing how like one of them will come up with a plan and they'll all agree to it, and then immediately all of them will ignore that plan, including the one who came up with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Naturally.
Yeah. And I had to intervene like I think like 4 or 5 times total, just in a like like, don't be mean to each other, and like, let's try to stay on topic, or like, you can't record a podcast if you're walking around the other side of the room because the microphone can't hear you. Like, no, you can't record your voice properly if you're laying on the bench under the table instead of actually sitting at the table where the microphone is. You know,
Wow.
typical podcast stuff. Sometimes I gotta remind myself of that every week.
So, what was the podcast supposed to be about?
So their podcast is about they're gonna watch movies. They're the movie rats, okay? They're gonna watch movies and talk about them.
Did they do that this one?
Well, they talked about the movie. Yeah, I think this is gonna be like I have to edit it too, that's going to be a fun experience. Let me tell you.
Yeah, that's amazing.
But I am like a professional
good
podcast
person.
editor, so
Yeah.
I am paid to do this now. But I think that once it's edited, I can use it as a like, okay, so this was a good dry run. Let's take from this experience. It was Mitchell's versus the Machines.
Ah, okay. Great movie.
Which is a great movie. A fantastic movie. You may not realize that having heard their run through of it. But it is a good movie. So that was my Sunday.
Fun times.
It is to be completely fair, and like, I mean this from the bottom of my heart. It was better than I was expecting. If I'm gonna be 100% honest, based on because I'd heard Liam talking to them about it, and I'd heard Liam talking to us about it, and I was like, I don't know how this is gonna go. And like, Liam lost all of his notes about the movie like the morning of the recording and shit. Like, this is the level we're talking about here.
Sure.
But like, it did go better. The fact that they were able to, for the most part, sit down and do a single thing for 45 minutes straight,
Impressive.
is pretty impressive for, their
For
age
10-year-olds.
group, and the fact that like more than half of them have ADHD. So,
I mean, frankly, it's impressive for a 38-year-old.
hey, I'm 39 now.
You old motherfucker.
I know.
I think we have to kick you out. It's like the Kids Next Door. What was that? What was that show?
Yeah, Kids Next Door. Codename Kids Next Door.
Codename Kids Next Door. Yeah.
Do we have to turn him into Soylent Green? Is that what's happening?
You remember their nemesis, the delightful children from down the lane?
Yeah. Oh man, what a great show that was.
What a fucking great show!
That was a great show.
I used to watch it with my siblings. Oh. So speaking of great shows, this one's not.
Oh. just
segue.
Yeah. So this week's episode of Star Trek Enterprise was season 4, episode 8, Awakening, and it awoken something.
I'm going to be honest. Terrible title for this episode.
The Awakening. Yeah.
It seems more, I don't know, it almost feels like that's the title, that's the working title when they were writing the script, because it was supposed to be like this fucking moment. But like, that moment didn't really happen. It was just kind of there. So I'm not sure Awakening was a good title.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I don't know. Like, they kept referencing The Awakening in last week's episode.
Oh, wait, is that a thing?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought The Awakening was like Archer and Serac, like realizing Serac was in him. Serac or whatever. What is
Serac.
The Awakening?
The Awakening is Serac's, like, awakening of the Vulcan people.
Wow,
So
somehow that got even worse as a title then, because that hasn't even really, like, we haven't even seen that happen yet.
Nope.
Huh.
Well, I mean, it already happened.
Well,
like,
sure. I'm
1800
sorry.
years
I
ago.
apologize. Yes, I like the fact that like Archer hasn't experienced it yet.
No, all he got to do was experience, nuclear war. Anyway, this week's episode kicks off with a rather long recap. Like, it was a full minute recap.
Oh, I skipped.
There's a
Still
lot
no-
of time.
Still no skip intro button for me.
Oh, there was a skip recap button for me.
Yeah. I got it. I had to click the 10-second skip several times.
Ooh, that's the worst.
Yeah,
I feel like work at that point. Like, it's like someone should be paying me to skip this recap right now.
You gotta switch over to Paramount Plus, man.
Once it got to like,
Isn't it gonna go away anyway though?
wait, what?
Probably.
Paramount Plus, like since they got bought out, I've heard they're just gonna be absorbed into CBS's thing.
When did
Yeah.
they get bought out? And what is CBS's thing?
Months ago.
What is CBS's thing?
They're like their streaming platform, I guess.
I didn't know
they
CBS
have a
had
streaming
one.
platform.
I knew
The only
NBC
reason I
did
knew
because
that
it's
they
called
had it
Cock
was-
Store or whatever the fuck.
Peacock.
Peacock, yeah, that's it.
No, that's NBC.
That's what I
Yeah,
said.
that's NBC,
I knew
yeah.
NBC had
Oh.
one because it was called Cock Store.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, CBS does have one. I remember it wasn't the Olympics.
It's what I watched Discovery on initially because they had a free trial, like when Discovery came out, and I watched it there.
Yeah. Anyway, streaming platforms, horrendous. Yeah. So this week it kicks off proper with Saval presenting himself to the Vulcan High Command.
Okay, but like not his junk and stuff, just like himself. He's not like
no.
Yeah, but he
Flash.
is
It was
telling
full-
them he's gay, though.
yeah,
Yeah.
which they're
Yeah,
very
and then,
hateful about.
Okay, I have
and
a
then
question.
full frontal.
I have a question for the two of you, though. Like,
Okay.
as this cold open opened up, it showed like the shot of like Saval in his little, I don't know, Saval mobile, like at the High Council building. Did you get like a real Star Warsy vibe from that shot?
Dude, I got Star Warsy vibes from this entire episode.
Fair enough, but like that, the way that just the architecture of the like CGI hotel thing that they were at, it made it feel like a Star Wars like.
See, I
Coruscant
think this
kind
is
of thing.
my 10-second skip button coming in because like I don't remember seeing that at all, so maybe I skipped that part.
Oh.
Oh, you missed the Saval mobile.
I did, yeah. I'm like Savalmobile.
Just like the Pope Mobile.
Yeah,
Like,
he's got
it's
one of
not
those like
nice.
bulletproof cages on the back for Saval to stand in.
I started with him like walking into the council chamber, so I just figured that was the beginning of the show.
Oh yeah, no. There was like an establishing shot right before that.
Yep.
A CGI establishing shot of the Star Wars hotel.
Yeah, so Emperor Palpatine, Administrator Vloss asks him if there's anything Saval wants to say before they announce their decision, because, this was clearly not a trial, and he could not present evidence to defend himself in any way, shape, or form to the High Command.
Well, he's not like being accused of a crime. He's just being relieved of his job, right? So like,
Yeah,
it's not
the
really
crime
a
of being
trial.
gay.
It's more like, well, yeah, fair enough. But it's more like an employee review, right?
We found you to be gay.
You have been found to be gay.
No
Do you have
further-
anything in your defense?
Yeah.
So what would you say you do here?
Yeah.
Well,
so,
they also accused the investigator guy of being Cyrenite. Who
They didn't just accuse him. They obviously like planted evidence in order to like frame him for being a syrup knight. Yeah.
Yeah. Very conveniently.
Yeah, they went
terrorist
into
of the
his
syrup.
apartment and put scattered like empty maple syrup bottles and stuff around.
fucking
Yeah.
A waffle iron that's like dirty still because it's been used because he's a fucking syrup knight. God damn him.
used taps in his apartment.
Everything's
Yeah, you
just
know
kind
what?
of sticky.
He even had like a rainbow on his door, suspiciously.
Well, no, they don't accuse him of being gay. Saval's the gay guy. Like there's no, that's not fabricated evidence. Saval's definitely gay. Like we agreed that.
Investigators, he's just accused of being a terrorist as well. That's all.
Right. Yeah.
Well, like their whole, not the whole thing, but part of it is like they are
True.
practicing mind melders.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, and it seems like part of the syrup knight like coda is that deep down we're all a little gay.
Man,
hate
our
you
metaphors
so
are
much.
really, really getting in the weeds here.
It's not a metaphor, man. They told us that mind melding was gay people stuff. Like they told us that.
So you get mind melding aids. But anyway,
Faith of the heart.
yeah, Administrator Saval reminds Saval that he's under the effect of a loyalty oath. So I guess I'm glad
Saval's
we're
like,
not the only side
fuck
that has
that
to
shit.
deal with that.
It's like an NDA, I guess. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I don't know. Yeah. Then we kick into Faith of the Heart. After the jingle jangle, we cut back to a cave where the Cyrenites have Archer and T'Pol.
Oh man.
And then,
Like, you can tell some mystical shit's about to happen because Star Trek has exactly
yeah.
one cue to let you know that there's going to be some mystical shit.
torches and caves.
No, the pan flute.
Oh,
They
That
do like
fucking
them some
pan
pan
flute, man, every time. Like, hoo-doo-doo-doo. It's like, oh shit, some mystical bullshit's about to happen. It was Voyager,
Yep.
it was this shit every time.
Mm-hmm.
Mystical bullshit. So yeah, they're showing Archer and T'Pol to T'Pau.
T'Pau.
This is going to get really confusing, by the way, as we keep going.
Yes, because we have 3 T's. We have T'Les, T'Pol, and T'Pau.
Yeah.
No, we have T'Pol, T'Pol's mom, and T'Pau. Like
no, T'Pol's mom is T'Les.
Yeah, I know.
Who's Tamor?
I fucking hate you.
So yeah, Archer immediately kicks off negotiations here by threatening T'Pau, calls her a liar when she denies having anything to do with the embassy bombing. But then, surprise, T'Les joins them in the cave hallway. T'Pau questions how T'Pol and Archer made it across the forge on their own. So T'Pol is forced. Well, I don't really forced, but basically, she fesses up about Arev and that he died in a cave because of sandstorm lightning. And then T'Pau drops the lore bomb that Arev was really Siren of the Sirenites.
Yeah, the original syrup. I don't understand what, like, having seen the actual confrontation between Archer and T'Pau, I do not understand what his plan was with all of this. Because they had this, like, really cagey, weird conversation. It's like, did you just want to talk to her? What is the plan here?
He wanted to aggressively point fingers. Well, it's really funny, too, because she even asks him, she even asks him, like, what were you going to do, arrest me? To which he had no answer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had the same question.
Shut up.
Yeah. Yeah, so naturally, because there's many more Vulcans than there are Archer and T'Pol, they just throw them in a jail cell.
Yeah, they get to stay in their nicest cave cell.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Archer then lets T'Pol know that Arev did something to him. I feel like a little doll is needed here.
Where did the bad patch
show me on the doll where Sirach's Contra or whatever the fuck is in you.
Yeah.
Contra?
Yeah. So Arev did touch him on his head and whispered sweet nothings in his ear, but other than that, he can't really remember what happened. They decide to... oh wait, no, that comes later. Yeah, T'Les and T'Pau chat back out in the main hall. T'Pau doesn't think that they can trust T'Pol or Archer, which, I mean, fair. She argues that Starfleet is aligned with Vulcan High Command, which also fair. Back on Enterprise, Trip starts throwing a temper tantrum after Saval lets him know that he got fired.
I like how Trip's like, they threw you out for helping us? And I'm like, no, they threw him out because he's gay. Like, they definitely said that out loud.
Yeah. Yeah, that seems to be the part, because, I mean, they're cool with him identifying the inspector guy as the culprit. That part's fine.
Yeah.
It was definitely how he did it.
Yeah. That's the fucking issue. And then Saval's like, because Trip's like, why is this motherfucker even in charge of shit? And Saval's like, our society rewards merit, which is nonsense. Like blatant nonsense. Because Vulcan has clearly shown that they have like families of like good position and reputation and shit. Like that's got nothing to do with fucking merit. If you've got blood inherited reputation, that ain't fucking merit. Like fuck you.
Like arranged marriages.
Yeah, we have to, because they have an influential family. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it's their inheritance. Like
shit's
genetic.
Inheritance.
Saval asks if Trip has heard back from Archer and T'Pol. Lets him know that Velas has plans on just outright destroying the Sirenite sanctuary and then going to war with Andoria for a reason. Because, every time you have a dictator, they need a scapegoat.
I guess we'll get to
power.
Yeah, that's actually my very last note of this episode is about Andoria, so we'll get back to that.
Okay. So they decide, I guess, that T'Pol isn't really a security risk, so they let her out, and she
just for this conversation, though, because she goes back into the cell with.
I assumed her mom was just like, "Hey, pull T'Pol out. I want to have a chat with her," and the guards were like, "Yeah, all right."
Yeah. So T'Les fills her daughter in on why she joined the Sirenites.
Oh man, Can I just say, too, that this moment here is one of those moments that keeps happening in this fucking show. And it seems like more and more recently is like, God, they had one really insightful idea, but they just fucking missed it. Like, they didn't even try. Because, like, the idea that, like, it turns out her mom is a syrup knight, and to Paul's literal self-sacrifice by marrying that guy was meaningless is such a fascinating, like, relationship moment to explore that they just completely gloss over within a second. It was terrible. Yeah. I was like, oh shit, because I thought that was going to come back up, but then, spoiler alert, her mom dies, so like it doesn't. So it's like, oh man.
Well, they wrote without any type of plan is the issue.
Because it could have been like, that's a very real, like, that. Why didn't you fucking tell me? Now I'm married to douche nozzle because I thought I was doing something for you.
He tries to touch my face weirdly.
Yeah, it succeeded.
2 fingers, which upset Mariah.
I demonstrated that for Mariah.
Like it.
And she's like, I did not care for that at all. I'm like, yeah.
I did not care for that. Yeah, so it turns out that Paul's mom is mad because she thinks that the current Vulcan High Command has strayed from the teachings of Sirach, and they're really just kind of a bunch of dicks. They're tyrants, no questions about it. They're not good people.
Very murdery.
Very murdery, which Sirach would not approve of. Famed pacifist. So there you go.
Yeah, he cooled an entire field of boiling blood with just logic.
Yep. Oh God, I forgot about that. So yeah, Celeste refuses to Paul's suggestion that they just leave and go home, unsurprisingly. She had hoped that T'Pol would understand their plight and join the Cyrenites with her. She was very wrong. T'Pol does not care.
She's like...
T'Pol's like, I'm good. Like, I don't feel like joining a cult.
Listen, witnessing like time travel firsthand did not make me believe in time travel yet. So clearly, this was never going to work.
Well, as it turns out, she does believe in time travel now. Yeah.
So back in the cave detainment cell, Archer starts hallucinating.
Which, to give you a clear picture of this fucking cave detainment cell, it's like an uneven cave floor, no furniture, but there are copious amounts of candles lit around it. It's really fucking weird.
They got a C.
What is with the tiny little hobbit door? It's really short.
I loved it. It was my favorite.
Hey man, it's a cave. You get what you get.
Such a cute little door.
Like, did they like steal this set from like Fraggle Rock or something? Why is everything so small?
This set, I will say, to that point, this set the entire time reeked of not being designed for this, which was fine because like it's supposed to be like they're kind of scrabbling out a hard living in a place where they weren't really, but also like they're like this ancient sanctuary or whatever. But like nothing about the cave parts of the set made any sense for what they were doing. So I suspect, and I didn't look up the trivia of this episode, I suspect that set was for something else that they were just borrowing it.
I specifically looked up the trivia for this episode, and there was like no new stuff that wasn't already mentioned for the previous episode, so I didn't see anything about the set for this one.
Interesting.
So what you're saying is there's no fun facts about the set.
There will be no fun facts for this entire episode, actually.
No fun facts with Chris.
Wah, wah, wah.
So yeah, in their lovely detainment cell, Archer starts hallucinating and then sees Sirach watching a battle unfold in the forge.
He goes back to sepia times.
Goes off. Yep, sepia times, that's right. Sirach tells him that he's seeing the past through Sirach's eyes. He then realizes, which is weird because he's inside of his brain, that Archer doesn't trust Vulcans, but tells him that, they're stuck with each other. So,
which I guess
Archer's just going to have to lead the Vulcans back to his teachings for him.
Is that an Earth expression? We're stuck with each other? Like, I hadn't really thought of that as an expression. That's just a sentence,
I mean, I would say it's like an expression, yeah.
Is it like, that's like saying like, oh, the old Earth expression, there's a dog by that tree over there. This is just a sentence. Like, we're stuck with each other. I don't know. I don't know. It was a weird way to say, like, do the Vulcans not say that?
Never once in
Apparently
Vulcan
not.
history, apparently.
Also,
logical
not for
somehow.
nothing, Sirach, best character in the episode. He was great. I know he
He was
wasn't
really
only
good.
in it for a little bit, but like he did a good job. Sirach did a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah. The actor who plays him does a good job. Back in Vulcan High Command, Veloz announces that they're just, they're going to bring out the nukes against the Sirenites.
This dude's so emotional the entire time.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was my main observation of his character as well. I'm like I know Vulcans have shown emotion, particularly in this show, but like he's just like a human. Like he's not.
He's got that fucking smirk like the entire time. Yeah, he's just kind of a dick.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is just more evidence that they've strayed from Sirach's teachings.
Oh yeah. That's
Oh
what it is.
shit! Yeah, you're right. Fuck. Are the Syrup Knights not super into emotional stuff? I guess not. They're just mind melders. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. They're mind melders and Katra enthusiasts and
they're like really big into brunch. Yeah.
yeah. Also, they don't like cutting straight lines across their bangs.
Oh, did they not? That? Yeah, I guess not. Oh,
Yeah.
I hadn't really thought about that.
They're too cool for that.
They're
Yeah,
too cool for that.
I also like the naysayer counselor guy who's like raises points and he's like, no, I'm gonna go a murdering.
Right, like
Yeah.
so. I have a note later because this, like, because Palpatine, like, he gets worse and worse and worse as the episode goes on, and like the murderingness as he wants to do, and Naysayer dude keeps being like, I don't think we should do that, Steve. But then he's like, I mean, I've already
Steve
got
said
my
we're gonna do
sword
it,
ready.
so.
I'm ready to go stab somebody, but I don't think we should. It's like, is there any fucking person in this goddamn world that's like, hey, that's a crime. Let's stop him from doing the crime.
No. I think they're just setting up that character to be the guy that takes over for Administrator Guy when he gets deposed at the end of this arc, which is, I'm sure, going to happen.
Oh, it's not going to be Saval. I just assumed Saval was going to take over. Or
Probably.
Tabao.
Who knows? Tabao!
I mean, he's an ambassador. I mean, I guess he's technically.
Yeah, but also the show isn't well written, and it's a character that has a name, so therefore he's got to be given something really fucking important.
That's fair. So yeah, Archer lets T'Pau and Telest know about his visions with Sirach. They immediately believe him, but then immediately don't believe him anymore. And T'Pau decides that the only way to be sure is to mind meld with Archer.
Yeah,
even though
that
it's
did
disgusting.
happen.
That's a good
Wait,
point.
hold on.
Yeah, I didn't actually
until you just put
recognize that.
Until you just put that sentence together, Rob, that didn't occur to me because they definitely say we believe
They
you.
outright, she outright says, "I believe you."
And
She
then
says
T'Pau
those
was like,
words.
but I gotta check for sure. Yeah, and then,
Yeah.
that's a good point. And she's totally like, I don't want to be in your gross human mind.
Yeah, she's like, I'm gonna mindfuck you, but I'm not going to enjoy it.
So yeah, they are working under the assumption now that Archer has Sirach's Katra, which he has inherited from Sirin, and now they just want to make sure that he actually has Sirach's Katra. So yeah, they mind meld. T'Pau starts recounting Archer's time in the Forge and confirms that Archer does indeed have the Katra. Back up on Enterprise, Saval and Trip start having a heart-to-heart about human-Vulcan relations. I really enjoyed all of the Saval-Trip moments in this episode. Like, their relationship is very funny.
Yeah, they were actually
like
probably the best part of this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not even sure relationship's the right word because it's not like they have any kind of like thing going on, but their conversations were definitely like interesting and I don't know, they felt like real. They felt like reasonable conversations that two people in their positions would have.
Yeah.
Also,
then,
Travis got to
Travis-
have a line.
Yeah, he calls up to the bridge to let Trip know that their work on the shuttle pod is coming along. More on that later.
Oh, you missed Saval's good joke though.
Oh, what was Saval's joke here?
Because like Trip's like, I didn't think you never showed you had any
Oh yeah.
care for humans. He's like, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, I've grown quite fond of humans. He's like, really? You never showed it. And he's like, thank you.
Yeah.
Good joke. Good joke, Samal.
So yeah, T'Pol then.
I have a question.
Okay.
Okay, so T'Pol and Archer go to the Syrup Knights. Archer says, yo, I got Sirach in me. I'm basically Sirach, like, at this point. Like, I'm, your Syrup dude trusted me. Now I have Sirach. And they're all like, we believe you. We don't believe you, but then we do believe you again. Why do they make them stay in the jail cell?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
So
just making sure.
Yeah, T'Pol catches Archer up on the Vulcan Science Academy's research into Katra. They came up empty, but Archer points out that they were also skeptical about time travel. But then he also says that he's having a hard time believing it all himself, even though he's experiencing this. And, like, basically equates what he's having to a mind meld hangover. Like, this is all really weird.
Yeah, he's got mind goo stuck in his head. So.
It seemed like the kind of thing that,
guess.
like, needed more, but they didn't have time, so they just kind of, like, quickly, like, did this little tete-a-tete and then moved on.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was. Trip then receives a call from Velas. Velas says that he has almost completed the investigation into the bombing, and that Enterprise should just go home.
He politely asks them to fuck right off.
Yeah. Trip refuses, and then Velas hangs up on him.
Yeah, and, like, Palpatine's like, this is an internal matter, to which Trip does not properly reply, by definition, no, it's not, because it happened on Earth's soil. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
And on their embassy, it is not Vulcan soil. Back in the cave, T'Pau wants to take the Katra from Archer, but T'Les is worried about how dangerous it might be. T'Pau says that she doesn't care and she's going to do it anyway.
T'Pau's like, fuck them humans. Fuck them.
Yeah. She's like, I don't see the problem.
And T'Les is like, but like it could kill Archer. And she's like, and? Like, I don't see the fucking, I guess 2 birds with 1 stone?
Yeah.
So they march right on over to the jail cell that everyone is still inexplicably in, and let Archer know that he
we'd love you
refuse, but he'll still be forced.
We'd love you to agree to this, but we're getting that shit out at you, whether you like it or not.
Yeah. So he agrees to undergo the ritual to have Sirach's Katra removed from him.
He agrees to not resist.
Yeah.
Yeah. We get a quick clip back on Enterprise of Trip giving Travis the go-ahead on their mission to get down to the surface.
I did not know that Reed was going to be there later, because it was just like Travis and a Mako.
And a Mako, yeah.
Also
I like how they're
guy.
like, we don't need Reed in that shot.
But like the Mako was also a black guy, and I was like, really? Are we doing this? Like, is this what we're doing right now?
Yeah, that needed an Oreo in the shuttle, okay?
Shut the fuck up.
Oh my god.
There's some fanfic for you to write.
Shuttle Orgy 1. Oh, fucking god damn it, Chris. Oh, man.
So we leave that wonderful scene behind.
And Reed's British, so it's going to be a chocolate sandwich biscuit.
We need some tea. Ross is now mad because Enterprise still hasn't broken orbit and gone home.
He's so smirky.
They don't want any evidence of their war crimes. So,
which he flat out basically says.
Yeah, no, he's like, does not pretend that that's not the reason at all.
Because his little lackey's like, why do you want them to leave so that they don't see you kill all those people? And he's like, yeah. And the guy lackey's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah.
I was just asking, informationally. I'm going to tell my kid a bedtime story later. I just want to make sure I got all the details right. Like, dude, arrest, do something, lackey. This lackey pissed me off so much.
He just felt like this weird audience insert where he's just questioning the morality behind everything.
Like I said, I think
anything about it.
I'm sure it's a setup for later when he like swoops in at the last minute to like stop the Vulcans from being bad
or whatever.
Yeah,
like he refuses or whatever. But it's clearly supposed to be this moment where like we are all supposed to assume that this one guy is going power hungry. And it's not like the entire institution or any of that. So this guy's got to keep raising complaints and objections, even though he's not actually going to act on any of them, even though real people are dying.
You know what this is? He's like the Mike Pence of this administration. He does the absolute bare minimum at the last possible moment.
To not do a full fascism? Yeah.
I
don't know. I feel like he's more like General Mattis, right? He's like, oh, he's going to be the resistance. He's going to be the adult in the room, but then he doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Anyway, T'Pau starts the forced ritual in front of an audience because, you always need an audience to watch you commit more crimes. Yep.
All Vulcan rituals are dumb, Chris, so like you're going to need to be more specific.
Fair. She just like grabs his face and just starts shouts
screaming.
at it. Yeah. He just shouts at him. Like at one of those camera angles had her like jamming her thumb into his under his chin. I'm like, oh, that looks uncomfortable.
Yeah. We get a moody thunderstorm outside, dramatic flashes of lightning. Archer starts to tremble, and T'Pau tries to rush forward but is held back by her mom.
Do we, okay, does anyone else, because I understand Vulcans have, telepathy and shit. Does anyone else, notice the fact that there's a fucking thunderstorm going on right now reacting to this? Isn't that bizarre and magical power, a thing that's noteworthy at all? Or that's just, I
mean, the sandstorms have lightning,
in reaction to what she is doing in this room.
Listen, this is science fiction. This is science fiction filled in a room full of people based on logic. Nothing is magical. Shut up.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Archer has a magical dream about Surak again. This time, he's suffering from radiation sickness. Yeah, he looks all gross.
I like how Surak apologizes. It's like, I'm so sorry that you have to see me like this.
sorry you have to see my oozing, gaping wounds.
Yeah. Surak asks Archer to find what his people have lost. The Kirshara.
Yeah, there's some definite white savior stuff going on here, and it was something.
The Vulcans are also white, so I didn't notice, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, fair, but I mean, they're also it's just like this.
If the
this
Vulcans
white dude has to go save the Vulcan culture.
Yeah, you're right. But also, if the Vulcans didn't manage to somehow be more racist than humans, I don't have a problem with it.
Fair.
It's the England rule, right? If you were ever a colonial empire, everyone gets to make fun of you. That's the rule. It's colonial empire or on the wrong side of World War II. And Japan is both of those things. So, yeah.
I mean, all right. Let's continue
before we get almost as racist as Vulcans. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, T'Pau, breaks away from Archer, saying that Surak refuses to leave him, and that ends the ritual. Travis, meanwhile, flies the rigged shuttle pod down to the surface the fire of Vulcan ships.
This is the part where, this is where I first realized Reed was even on this mission. And I'm Reed looks around at Travis, and then the no-named Black Marine guy is like, oh, well, I'm probably going to make it.
Because, Saval gives him some code to, sneak him through, and that clearly did not work.
Not even a little bit. Nope. It didn't work even... at all.
Yeah, believe it or not, the Vulcans were already paying attention to Enterprise, so they did not miss the shuttle.
I'm gonna be honest. This was worthless cinema. This was a worthless scene. Why are we even doing this?
So Travis does a loop-de-loop to try and get a shot on the Vulcan ships for Reed. And the Vulcan ships just fly out of the way because
he hits the one.
He hits them both, but one gets kind of smoky. Speaking of which, I don't though, like, was Montgomery sick or something? Like, Travis didn't act for shit in this episode. He just kind of like recited his lines like a line read and went on with his day.
Well, so the problem is he's out of practice because he never gets any
That's
lines.
true. I think this is the first time he's had more than 2 lines this entire season.
You know what? I did see one trivia note here. This is semi-related.
It's a semi-related fun fact with Chris?
This was actually the only episode of this season where Phlox doesn't appear.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, yeah.
No wonder this episode wasn't as good as last week's. Anyway, Vlos calls Trip again to complain about the stunt with the shuttle pod after the shuttle pod flies back because they don't like getting shot at, I guess.
I mean, like, to be fair, Trip should have really hammered home the fact that it's like, yeah, okay, maybe my shuttle pod wasn't where it was supposed to be, but you fucking shot them, you assholes. What the fuck are you doing?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's finally forced to admit that Archer is on the surface looking for the Syrup Knights. Vlos again demands that they leave orbit, saying that if they don't, the Vulcan ships will open fire on Enterprise. Back in the sanctuary, Archer is recovering from the ritual. T'Pol and Teles have a familial dispute.
Oh, did we say the
on top of
ritual
Archer.
failed? Like it just
Yeah, he
straight up,
said
like,
it.
didn't
He said
work?
it.
Yes.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay, I missed that.
Yeah, did not work. T'Pau interrupts them, saying that the Vulcan High Command have found them, and they need to evacuate the sanctuary immediately. But Archer wakes up and then insists he can find the Kirshara.
Oh shit!
Yeah, that
Turns
thing
out
that we
it's-
definitely know about.
Turns out it's over there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
He's like, no, didn't you guys look down that dark hallway over
Did
there?
you look down that hallway? And then, like, once you're in the hallway, and this is going to be wild, like, go through the thing that looks like a door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you'll hit some corpses that are mummified. Just keep going.
Take a right at the corpses and go through the door-shaped thing, and you'll be where it is.
Back aboard Enterprise, Trip watches a shot miss Enterprise by a few meters. We then get another little fun.
Saval is such a good
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah. Yes, Saval. How many warning shots do Vulcans usually fire? To which Saval responds, none.
Did you know that Saval, the actor who plays Saval, actually auditioned for the role of Benjamin Sisko before that they decided he was going to be African American?
Boy, I don't
Weird.
think that would have worked.
Well, there's probably a reason they didn't go with him.
I thought the reason was that he wasn't black. Didn't you just say that?
Well, he auditioned before they made the decision.
Oh, I see. Yeah, like, because that actor's been in Star Trek several times, has different characters, but they all have the same kind of, like, range, and I don't think that range could have carried Sisko.
Yeah.
Place in my notes.
The god, Palpatine's
Saval's
a dick.
making jokes.
Yeah,
Oh,
Saval
yeah.
made a joke.
Yeah. So, Phalas calls once again, demanding that they leave. Trip refuses once again, so the Vulcans open fire, and Trip orders Enterprise to return fire. So now we got friendly fire, which is fun. Definitely
Enterprise
not going to
gets
start
shit
an
kicked
intergalactic
in.
war.
I don't understand why
Yeah.
the Vulcans didn't just tractor them away.
Shut up, that's why.
Okay, thank you.
It's because they were worried about the Enterprise's grapplers.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Enterprise
those
takes too many
grapplers are pretty
hits.
fucking crazy.
Yeah, they can rip the wing off a Klingon bird of prey, evidently. Enterprise takes too many hits and has to withdraw. Back on the surface, T'Pol joins Archer and T'Pol while searching for the Kirshara, while Teles leads the evacuation of the other Syrup Knights.
Yeah. The Vlos guy too was like, he's like, all right, they're leaving. All right, as soon as they're out of range, we really got to get to that
Kill
murdering.
Everyone. Everybody needs to be dead. If I detect a single heartbeat in that valley, it's going to be your ass, lackey. And the lackey's like, but that's a crime. And he's like, I don't fucking care. Kill them all.
Okay, boss.
Lackey's like,
yeah,
all
well,
right, shit.
like Stanford was saying earlier, Archer cryptically identifies some weird Vulcan mummies along the way.
Just a pointless scene.
He then caresses a door, opening the vault, and
Which, by the way, he like made like he was like pressing buttons and stuff, and it's just like There's nothing
It's like
moving
stone.
on it.
Yeah.
Nope,
Yeah.
nothing at all.
Yeah. But like they added some Foley sound effects at the end to make it sound like there was some shit happening whenever he touched
Mhm.
it. So like that
Yeah.
worked.
Yeah. We get some fun CGI of the sanctuary taking fire from Vulcan ships above. Lost orders a carpet bombing of the whole area because everybody must die, evidently.
Yes, he gets very murder horny.
He does. Archer and team make it back to the surface in time to see the sanctuary just get completely annihilated.
Oh, they pick up the Kirshara, which is a very fragile looking like stone pyramid thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Vloss has meanwhile gone full on dictator, saying that they're removing a threat.
The lackey literally is like, this is a massacre. You've ordered a massacre. And again,
Yeah.
he's like, I'm not saying I'm going to stop you. I'm just pointing out that what you're doing is a massacre.
Yeah. We're gonna do a massacre.
Like, I'm not saying I'm not on board. I just want to make sure we have the clear terms that this is a massacre.
Yes, he wants
like,
no one unmurdered.
I'm going to file this under M for massacre.
Massacre.
On their way out of the sanctuary, Archer and T'Pol come across Teles, who's taken a boulder to the face.
But
As she died, she tells T'Pol she did all of this for T'Pol and to help T'Pol deal with her emotions.
But
And
not
then she
like-
dies in
well.
T'Pol's
Hold
arms.
on. Right before she dies, though, she goes ahead and makes void the entire character arc T'Pol went through in the last season, because she goes, "You have always struggled with your emotions." Oh, okay. Thanks, dying character's breath, where you just completely erased any kind of character arc T'Pol had at fucking all.
Outside of that, which is 100% true, this was like the flattest death scene that we were supposed to care about. But
Well,
like,
they're
it's
Vulcans. Fuck them.
it's like,
Yeah.
no, mom died. Okay, bye. Like,
Hey,
there
T'Pol
was-
had a single tear.
Yeah, I was gonna say at least T'Pol cried, which
but like,
uh,
I felt nothing. Like, it was supposed to be an impactful scene of like T'Pol losing her mom, and it's like, yeah, no, she died.
this whole episode. Well, we'll get there. But anyway, so this is where they announce that the Sirenites are militant pacifists, and Saval informs Trip that the Vulcan High Command plans on attacking Andoria, and thinks that the Sirenites might hold them back with,
All right.
militant pacifism, I guess.
And here's the question I have. Why? What do the Vulcans have to gain by attacking Andoria?
That cements their evil status.
Oh, okay.
They need to get access to the Andorian Mining Consortium's mining fields.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Like, when they were talking about like Andoria and Vulcans having some friction because of this like age-old border dispute or whatever, okay, I was like, all right, whatever. But at this point, I really cannot figure out what exactly the Vulcans would gain at this point. Like, what's the like?
These
There's no
guys over there
logic
are
to it. There's
blue
no
and
logic
weird, and
at
I don't
all.
like it.
Yeah, like if
So-
the Andorians are like we're seeking like revenge or whatever, like I guess like it's stupid, but I guess that makes sense. They're
But like, isn't
Andorians
that
and
like
they're-
what this
they're
is supposed to be
emotional.
about, right? They're wayward from Surok's teachings, and they're
Yeah.
regressing back into their warlike ways. Like, it's
Yeah,
ham-fisted,
I
but I think
think-
that's the general like thought behind that plot.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the whole point is that there isn't a point. And they're doing this to justify a war to keep themselves in power. Like, they're just playing the dictator's handbook at this point,
Right.
Okay, but like that's fine, except for the fact that according to Saval, there's no reason this dude wouldn't be in power. Like attacking Andoria does not cement his power. He's already in power.
No,
like
no, no, it gives
Palpatine's
him
already
more-
been elected emperor here. What's the
it gives
fucking
him-
point?
Because it gives him more merit that he can pass on to his kids.
Oh, for his
Inherit merit.
inheritance. Oh, okay. You know what?
Inheritance,
I forgot about that. That's fair.
Yeah, and then we wrap this week's episode with Trip ordering Travis to head for Andoria at maximum warp.
Gotta secure that generational merit.
Generational merit.
Oh,
Oh
good.
God, I think
Yeah.
I think his stepdad or his dad had an owner's stake in a merit mine down in apartheid Vulcan. Yeah,
Yeah.
Just carrots of merit.
just just a merit the size of your fist coming out of that mine.
Yeah. I mean, he's going to use some of that merit to buy a social media network to help promote his political beliefs.
Stop. No, it's too close to the truth. We're done now. That's not funny.
Anyway, on a scale of 1 to 5, with 0 being threshold, how do you guys rate this one?
I guess I'll go first. So I think I started at about a 3, and like the more we talked about it, the less I liked the episode.
Chris, are you reading over my shoulder right now?
Like, I don't know if it's bad enough for me to call it a 2, but also I don't know if it's good enough to call it a 3.
So like I'm gonna jump in here with my because I think it'll help you on your thoughts here, because like I was thinking the exact same thing, which is like I was kind of meh about it, so I guess a 3. But then the more we talked about it, the more I realized that like nothing useful happened. Most of the scenes were stupid. The one Vulcan was like comically villainous in a very un-Vulcan way, and like I'm at this point I'm like I don't think anything was done well enough to merit a 3.
Yeah, I mean, Saval had some fun lines.
Sure, and Serac
Yeah.
was fine for the 2 scenes he was in, but
Yeah.
like that doesn't what
Doesn't
like
lift it
this whole
enough.
fucking episode was and the crime of they finally had a character arc, but then her mom wipes it away with her dying breath was just like, all right, fuck you, Star Trek Enterprise. You can suck a dick. Like, what the fuck?
I think that's good foreshadowing with how they wipe away somebody else at the end of this season for no reason. All right, so I think 2 is probably appropriate for this.
We're
episode.
at 2s. Rob, what are you, 5? No notes?
No, I also gave this one a 2, actually.
Wow.
Yeah,
You know it's
I-
bad when Rob's like, this shit sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll get into more of why in the deep dive this week, but yeah, it's just too. There was too much, too many plot holes, too many like why is this happening scenes.
Right.
Just lots of random cuts back and forth that I think we're supposed to like try and make the situation seem more dire than it really was, and then in the end, like they didn't even drop a nuke. They kept talking about using atomics, and then they
That is
never
true.
dropped the nuke.
They're just regular ass bombs.
Yeah, they just left that nuke up above the mantle and never dropped it.
Rob's like, if you're not going to use Chekhov's nuke, then what's the fucking point?
Yeah,
IMDb gave this episode a 4.
that's wild.
Yeah,
Like-
it wasn't good.
The last
Like-
episode was so much better than this one.
They gave the last one a 5.
Sure.
It was so much better than this one. All right, we're gonna take a break and we'll be back for this week's deep dive. All right, welcome back to this week's deep dive on Katra. So yeah, I started looking into like just Katra in general. After doing a little bit of research, I would argue that Katra is probably like some of the most hand-wavy spiritualism we get in Star Trek, which is impressive because there's an entire movie about them finding God.
Hey.
Hey,
All right, never mind.
okay.
What does God need with a starship? It wasn't actually God. Come on.
All right. So yeah, it's interesting that like once again, Enterprise is kind of like treading old ground here, and trying to like build up existing Star Trek lore in weird ways. It also kind of continues Enterprise's theme of like Vulcan logic being defeated by reality in weird ways. So like, do you guys know what a Katra is, or like what it's supposed to be?
Like
It's their consciousnness, right?
right, it's their soul.
Yeah, they call it their living spirit. Interestingly, it can be transferred between people, as we saw in tonight's episode. It also has happened in several other episodes, like and also movies. So in the search for Spock, Spock transferred his Katra over to McCoy shortly before he enters into the radiation chamber, which is impressive that you managed to transfer your consciousness out and then go save a starship. But we'll come back to that later.
I had that question almost immediately when we talk about Katras, which is like, is it like but like they can still control their body and stuff? What is happening?
Yep. Yeah, it's real weird. Just an extra dose of hand waving there. There's also the whole bit between Sarek and Michael Burnham. So, like, it's explained that Sarek gave Burnham a part of his Katra when he resuscitated her during like the whole like
a part
Vulcan
to keep.
school bombing when she's a kid. Yeah. So now they just always kind of like feel each other, which I think he describes at one point as like sort of mind meld, but permanent, but not really a mind meld.
Yeah, they can like communicate over distance, which I'm gonna be honest, that's kind of cool. Like,
yeah, it's just more.
It's stupid, but it's cool. Like I would dig having somebody's Katra and like they and I could just chat all the time. That'd be cool.
Man, you're such a codependent bitch.
I am such a codependent little bitch. Honey, will you let me have part of your Katra so we can chat all the time?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be my dad, I think.
Yeah. Importantly, as with all other uses of Katra and the mind meld, this is of course frowned upon by decent Vulcans everywhere.
Gay?
Yeah. So the transfer is kind of interesting. You get most, if not all of the knowledge and experience of the person whose Katra you receive. I kind of wish there was an episode that explored inheriting multiple Katra at the same point and how that would affect someone. Like, I feel like that's
would your brain get full at some point?
I don't know. Well, so like that's the interesting part. They talk about the risks, right? And we see a little bit of it tonight.
Yeah, you're going to have some crazy Vulcan lady scream at you. That's a pretty big risk.
Like, it's specifically more risky for humans because we have, our sensitive nervous system. But it can also lead to a type of, like, dissociative identity disorder, which is what winds up happening to McCoy. The good news is there's a hyposyringe you can get to avoid all side effects, mostly for a limited amount of time.
Oh, that's convenient.
Yeah. They Kirk administers it to McCoy in Search for Spock. It's called Lexarin.
So he gave him some Lexapro, and he was totally fine after that.
Lexapro.
Yep. Yeah, totally. Speaking of medical scientist, Stamets was fascinated by Katra and mind melds in general. He created this like synthetic mind meld augment that helped Burnham wake up Sarek, which I think is what you were referring to, Stanford. Like they can kind of communicate over distances, right? So she manages to wake him up so he could turn his shuttle back on and get out of that like killer nebula that he was stuck in Discovery. Yeah. Aside from transferring Katras to humans, Vulcans also use Katric arcs. So that's what we see in the opening scene of last week's episode, where they get that little urn. I guess you can.
Oh, that's what that was supposed to be. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. That was supposed to be Siren discovering Surek's like Katric arc.
Got it.
Yeah. Interestingly, kind of surprised this didn't make it into your fun facts, Chris, but the first draft of the Andorian incident from season 1 had a hall of Katras in the monastery on Pajem with like a bunch of urns acting as Katric arcs.
This was actually one of the trivia notes I saw from the previous episode, but it didn't really have anything to do with the episode, so I didn't include it.
I guess like didn't Sirach die like almost immediately?
Yeah, from radiation poisoning.
So I guess he had time to carve a special arc for his fucking brain juice?
Yep.
He carries it around with him.
Like a Lich's phylactery?
Yeah, definitely.
And the Vulcans aren't evil. Okay.
Yes, it's Surek's Horcrux.
Just the one, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, Memory Alpha recommends seeing your local Vulcan priest to maximize safety while messing around with Katras. So definitely don't try it at home, kids. Yeah, that's Katras in a nutshell. It's weird. Like I said at the beginning, it's really hand wavy. This is the kind of stuff that, like, when Star Trek delves into it, like, it just feels weird to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things where, like, I have trouble with some of this stuff because I understand that science fiction long has the, like, well, but, like, telepathy is, like, it's magic. It's fucking magic, right? But, like, it's science fiction, so we can't call it magic, so it's got to be like, well, actually, it's just, like, extrasensory perception is just, they're just picking up on ways that we can't perceive, but they're real, and there's science behind it. Just shut the fuck up. It's magic. It's fucking magic.
They're betazoids.
And now, like, every time they need, like, someone to do something magical, they go to a Vulcan and be like, yeah, it's just another thing the Vulcan brain can do.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, like, I don't know. And the Katra thing is weird because, like, sometimes it's like this, but then other times it's like, don't T'Pring and Spock switch Katras in the Shenanigans episode? In the hijinks episode? Isn't that what happens?
I think so, yeah.
They, like, sneeze too hard during a ritual and their Katras switch or whatever. Like, for something that's so fucking important, it seems really easy to displace. Like...
No.
Is that like what Vulcan parents say to their children? Like, you'd lose your Katra if it weren't inside your head. Like,
yeah. Well, you know what? Don't worry about it, Stanford, because there's a ritual for that.
Yeah, there fucking is.
There's a Vulcan ritual for everything.
Which means that this has happened in the past enough for someone to be like, I need a way to fix this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's probably all written down in the Kirshara, and all they had to do was read it. But, you know, they lost it in that weird tomb.
Rob, there was a door between them and it. I don't understand how they were supposed to get to it.
They didn't know the right way to caress the door, Stanford.
That's true. That was the secret.
Definitely needed to deal with that stone door that way.
Just had to finger blast that door just right.
He definitely gave that door the shocker at the end there. Yeah.
He did.
All right, we're gonna take a little break here, and we'll be back for some potpourri with Matthew.
Matthew, ew. Welcome back. So, for those of our listeners who are in the States, the week we are recording this, we're actually recording this a day earlier than we usually do, because the week we are recording this is Thanksgiving here in the United States. I had originally thought maybe I would do something about horrifying colonial empires, but that seems like kind of a bummer. So, so instead, I thought it might be fun to go through each character and we could figure out what they're thankful for. A la the, like, New Year's resolution one we had a while ago.
Sure.
Okay, yeah.
So what I want to do is we're going to go through each of the Star Trek Enterprise characters, and then if we have some time, we'll get to some other characters.
Okay.
So starting with Archer, we'll go with Rob first. Rob, what do you think Archer is thankful for this year?
He is thankful for Argos.
You talking about Porthos?
The dog?
Or Porthos. Porthos, sorry. Different dog.
Argos is the name of our friend's dog.
You'd be thankful for Argos. That's fine.
Yeah.
No explanation. You're just going to say the name?
He's just, fucking,
he's
it's the goodest boy. Like, what's the,
Sure.
Do we want to go a new character for Chris, or do you have something quippy about Archer, so we want to do the same character for you?
Oh, I was going to say that he was recently on Earth, so he could catch up on his backup of water polo matches he missed.
Oh, yes. Yeah. All right, then, Chris, why don't you start us off with Trip?
Trip's thankful for Vulcan massages from T'Pol.
I think he's thankful that he no longer has to go back to Florida.
God damn! No. Oh shit!
Oh, sister.
All right. Speaking of T'Pol, Rob, what is she thankful for? Trick question. Vulcans don't share gratitude. That's right.
I have a suggestion for what T'Pol's thankful for.
Oh, yeah. Go for it.
Her mom.
Oh,
she was dead. Up until about 10 minutes ago.
I know what she's thankful for.
Well, Rob's going to go.
What is T'Pol thankful for? T'Pol is thankful that she finally got to wear a Starfleet uniform.
Hey.
Once. As a disguise.
I think she is thankful that she is somewhere not in the same room as her husband to not get touched weirdly by two fingers.
Oh, God. Man, even thinking about that scene makes me cringe.
It's so uncomfortable.
Oh, man. All right, Chris, what about Travis?
Travis is thankful he got a line in this episode.
Oh, he did. He got like 2 or 3.
I think that he's thankful that he dodged the bullet and didn't have to serve underneath of his brother on the horizon.
Oh, deep cut.
Deep cut, yep.
All right. Let's go with Reed. Rob.
Reed is thankful for pineapple.
Fucking dork.
Reed's thankful he got to be the cream in that Oreo in that shuttle.
No!
Bringing it back.
Oh, shit. Okay, Chris, Hoshi.
Jesus, I haven't even seen her in like 4 episodes, it feels like.
She was in this episode.
For like 2 seconds, though.
Yeah.
What is Hoshi thankful for? Hoshi's thankful for Phlox's brain dewormer.
Hoshi is grateful that she got over her fear of confined spaces.
Okay, Phlox, I think, is the last one. Rob?
Phlox is thankful that Dr. Lucas isn't dead.
Phlox is thankful that that other guy died first.
Fucking Steve.
Fucking Steve.
Always heating up fish in the goddamn break room. Oh, fuck. All right, I think that's good. So, genuinely, I am personally thankful that I get to do this with y'all every week. I do enjoy this. This is fun.
Aw, me too.
So I am thankful for that.
Oh, I know what I'm thankful for.
And this country that we stole from the natives. Go ahead, honey.
I'm thankful that Chris's mic doesn't pick up when he goes tinky.
So say we all.
I just put water through my nose. Shit.
I'll just like next time I'm doing it, I'm gonna shout. I'm going tinkies.
I'm
doing it.
All right, and on that silly note, we are Captain's Log Supplemental. As we say at the top and the bottom, please give us a rate and a review. Tell your friends. Tell any Star Trek communities you're out there. If you are an American and you celebrate, please do and have a good, enjoyable, and safe holiday. I know that this episode will not come out before Thanksgiving, but it will come out just before some other holidays. I guess those aren't American-centric. But anyways, everybody have an enjoyable holiday. Hanukkah's real easy to remember this year because it's actually on Christmas.
Ooh.
So, Christmas, Hanukkah, New Year's, Kwanzaa, whatever floats your holiday boat, have a good and safe one. We will be here next week, and as always, we will talk to you then. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Captain's Log Supplemental. You can follow us on Twitter at PodCLS or send us hate mail at podcls3@gmail.com.